Today I'm going to give you the 3 key elements to reaching any goal. Ready? The first element is confidence. The second one is clarity, and the third one is commitment. Now, you might be thinking, that's tough because I don't always have confidence that I can reach my goal, or I don't always have the commitment and the consistency that I want to reach my goal. Or you might be thinking, I don't know how to reach my goal. I don't have a lot of clarity. Well, here's the beautiful thing. You don't need all 3. You really just need a combination of them to reach your goal. You could have a ton of confidence and get to your goal and have very little commitment and clarity. You could have a ton of clarity and very little commitment or confidence. As long as you have some combination of those 3, you can reach your goals. Now, an example of this is the movie Rudy. He had a ton of commitment, but he didn't necessarily have true confidence and true clarity on how to get to play for Notre Dame. But he was committed, and that commitment put him in the right place to be able to play for the football team that he dreamed of playing for. And I know people that have what they call irrational confidence, and they just believe that they can do something. And then they go out there, and because they have that belief, they make choices that align with that belief, and they achieve their goals. And there are other people that just have such a clear plan that confidence doesn't really play a factor in it, and commitment doesn't play a factor in it as much because they know exactly how to get to their goal. So if you ever find yourself struggling with, do I have the confidence? Do I have the clarity? Do I have the commitment? Do I need all 3? You don't need all 3. And there is a 4th X factor that can trump anything. And I'm going to share that at the end of this episode. So let's dive into what each one of these things is. Confidence. It's basically the question, can I? And when we ask this question, there's a few questions that we can start with. Number 1, is this goal possible for someone? And if we can answer yes, well, good. That's a pretty good goal. Is it possible for me? And if we're realistic about that, like, is this truly a goal that is possible for me? I might not feel like it is. I might not have proved that it's a realistic goal in the past. But is it actually just plain possible? And if we can answer yes, then it's probably a good goal. And then the next question that we want to ask is this goal possible in this season of my life? Now that's a key one, because there are some seasons in which we have the time, space, energy, and capacity to reach a certain goal, and other seasons in which it's maybe not as realistic. So ask yourself, is this goal possible for someone? Awesome. Is it possible for me? Great. Is it possible for me in this season? Yes. It doesn't need to be incredibly realistic, but as long as it's possible in this season, then you can move forward. Can I? Do I have the confidence? And then the next part of having confidence is walking in hope. The beauty of being a believer in Jesus is that we have infinite hope, because in him anything is possible. Do we have hope that we can make the choices that are needed to reach this goal? And it can be our tendency, or at least my tendency, to walk in fear that we're going to mess up, to walk in fear that we can't do it, that we can't be consistent, that we can't follow through with the goal. But we want to have the confidence in Christ, in the possibility, in the fact that this is hopefully a goal that he is calling us to, and he's going to equip us for, and we just need to be faithful in the day-to-day. So confidence. Do I have confidence that I can reach this goal? The next one is clarity. I might say that I want to be in the Olympics, but if I don't have a clear and specific plan, I'm not going to get there. Now, one thing that kind of blows me away is how specific Olympians get about their training. I am a big fan of Cindy McLaughlin-Levrone, the 400-meter hurdler for the U.S. And the idea that there are athletes all over the world, their entire goal is just to run around a circle, jumping over hurdles, and yet they have extremely detailed plans on how to do that well. They practice the start. They practiced jumping over every single hurdle. They practice how many steps they need to take between hurdles. They practice the most minute details. They have extreme clarity on what it takes to reach that goal. They know the breakdowns of the times that they need in different parts of the season. They know what they need to eat, how they need to sleep. So if you are lacking in confidence, maybe you could focus on clarity. Have a very clear plan on how you can reach your goal, down to the tiniest little thing. It's extraordinary what we as humans can accomplish when we have a good enough plan. We can go to the moon with a simple checklist because somebody has outlined the steps that it takes. Make your plan and have clarity on how you're going to get to your goal. One thing about clarity that I think is important too is when you are committed and focused on that goal, when you have clarity on what your goal is and the fact that it is a priority to you, it activates this part of our brain called the reticular activating system. Now, this is the part of the brain that if you're shopping for a new car, let's say you want a red minivan, suddenly you're going to see red minivans everywhere. Everywhere you look, apparently the world owns a red minivan. Well, they don't, but it's just the reticular activating system focusing in on the thing that you are telling it is important. Because God created us in such a way that we can pay attention to lots of things. At any given moment, right now, you could be thinking about the way that your shirt feels on your skin. You could be thinking about, the hair that's blowing in your face. You could be thinking about the way your throat feels, the way the air is blowing on your skin from the air conditioning or from the breeze outside. You could be thinking about a lot of different things. And if we did think about all those things, it would be overwhelming. But God created a system within us called the reticular activating system that kind of acts as a bouncer. And if we tell it X is important, then it's going to focus on X and it's going to tune the other things out. That's what allows us to focus in church, to the sermon, to focus in school, to our teachers. And when you tell it that this is my goal and I have clarity on my goal and this is important to me, it's going to focus in on that and orient everything around it so that as you look around your day and around your world, you're going to see things that align with that goal. Just like when you're shopping for that red minivan, you only see the red minivans because your brain has acknowledged that this is important and you have clarity. So when you choose a goal, we want confidence, yes, but we want clarity because it can activate the other parts of our brain that help us to orient our lives around pursuing that goal. The next part is commitment. That's basically asking ourselves, will I? Will I do what it takes to pursue this goal? Now, there's a difference. When we think about commitment, we think about, I'm just going to get it done. I'm going to have grit. There's a thing called perseverance, which is just pushing through and doing the thing. And a lot of times that can be associated with perfectionism. And we feel like if I don't do the exact thing that I said I would do, then I failed and then I feel bad. So there's two things that can help us in our commitment. One is perseverance. The other is having an indomitable spirit. What do I mean by that? These are two things that I've taken from Taekwondo. I do Taekwondo with my son, and that's one of the tenets of Taekwondo, perseverance and an indomitable spirit. And they sound like the same thing. I'm committed to this goal. I'm going to pursue it no matter what. But they're actually different. So perseverance is having that clarity and just doing the thing every single day. But having an indomitable spirit means that in reality, there are some days when we cannot do the thing. We might be sick, we might be traveling, we might have had something come up that just prevents us from doing the thing. So if we have an indomitable spirit, we find a way around that. We find another solution. For example, a few months ago, I broke my foot and I was unable to participate in Taekwondo or pickleball, both things that I really enjoy. And obviously I couldn't move, so I couldn't do either of those. But I didn't want to stop learning and growing. And so I would watch videos. I would practice in my head. I would go through the arm movements of different Taekwondo things. I had, hopefully, somewhat of an indomitable spirit. I couldn't persevere with my classes or the things that I normally did, but I found a way to continue learning. So when you think about commitment, don't be bound by perfectionism, which is like a rigid stick that can break, and when it breaks, then you can't be going forward. It needs to be flexible and adaptable. So we have confidence. Can I do this? We have clarity. How do I do this? And we have commitment. Will I do this? Now, there is an X factor that can kind of change everything. And happily, for those of you who love alliteration like I do, it is another C word, and that is community. If you remember, way back to elementary school, when you were 5, you were probably at home with your family, and you just did kind of whatever. You just kind of played, and granted, you learned things. But something magical happens at 6 when we go into kindergarten or the first grade. And suddenly we learn to read, we learn our letters, we learn to do basic math. It's extraordinary what children learn in the first grade. Because suddenly they're in this community with a leader that's teaching them, with people around them that are also pursuing these goals with clear structure. So if you are struggling with confidence or clarity or commitment, finding a community can be the X factor that provides some of all 3 of those to help you reach your goals. So be looking around in your church, in your family, on the internet, in your town, for people who have similar goals, and find that community, because it can be the very thing that helps you to reach those goals. All right, friends, I hope you found that to be helpful. And as you are pursuing the goals that you have set before you, I hope that you are able to find the confidence and the commitment and the clarity and that community that can tie it all together. Okay, so here's my challenge for you. Think of a goal that you are pursuing or want to pursue, and take some time to honestly think about where you're at with your confidence in that goal, your clarity of how to pursue it, and your commitment towards it. I would love it if you would share in the comments how you feel about that goal and where you need to build up a little confidence, a little clarity, or a little commitment, or where you need to find community to help you reach that goal. All right, friends, I am so thankful for you, and I'd love to see you over at hellomornings.org. You can join our 3x5 morning reset at any point in time, and we can help you get your goal of building a morning routine going. We'd love to see you there, and until then, I'll see you next time on the next video. Have a great day.